welcome to SKKU China Business Webinar Seminar. This is my pleasure and to continue this China Business Webinar Seminar. We've been doing since January of this year. Basically, we'd like to invite experts in China business, whether it's coming from academia or the business field. Today, I'm so happy to invite Professor Sunny Lee-sun from Massachusetts. He's in Boston now, so his time is about 9 p.m. So we have about 11 hours time difference. Let me introduce Professor Sunny Lee-sun. He has a PhD from University of Texas at Dallas and a master at the University of Hong Kong. He did his undergraduate in Renmin Daxue in Beijing. He's been doing research on entrepreneurship and innovation. He is one of the most prolific young scholar in this area of entrepreneurship and innovation in China business. Today, we ask him the topic of global value chain. Global value chain over the last 4 years has been drastically changed between America and China conflict. As now today we have a lot of disruption and difficulties to handle semiconductor business globally. As you heard, a lot of automobile industries stop their production because they are lacking of semiconductor for automobile production. And besides this, a lot of Chinese companies have trouble to source the semiconductor materials and products to produce their final product. So this is a very interesting topic. We'd like to know all of it. Today, we will do this web seminar in English. We invite discussant Professor Ko Young-jin and another discussant, our students, Ye-Yel Kim. And besides that, we have many foreign and international audience today. So we will have a Q&A session. And if you have any question, please raise your question on the chatting room. In chatting room, you can ask a question in English, Chinese, or Korean. I will just interpret all of these and address to Sunny, Professor Sun, after his presentation. Please welcome Professor Sunny Lee-sun with a big applause.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kim, Professor Ko invited me here. It's my honor to talk today's topic, innovations in global value chain. It's great to talk about innovations in global value chain. Today, in the first 40 minutes, I want to talk 4 important questions. The first question is a global value chain the ever given to a country or firm? Okay, so yeah, so the previous 2 weeks, they're big news, right? So one container ship, the largest container ship in the world, called Ever Given. Okay, a good name, right? Okay, so but it's also a good metaphor to present the globalization or global value chain. So the largest container ship, right? So was a blocker, Suez Canal. So distort all the global trade, right? So this news remind us the importance of the global value chain, right? So if Suez Canal was blocked few days, everyone was affected. Actually, 80% of global activity was engaged in global value chain, right? So one question is, the first question is the global value chain is good or bad for a country? Second question, we will move to macro level, is what is a leadership company, leader firm, and the suppliers relationship? Third question, we will move to suppliers perspective, because lots of Chinese company, Korean company is a supplier to the Apple or to the Huawei leader company. So what is suppliers innovation strategy? The third one is what is the future of a trend of a global value chain? Okay, so you can raise more questions. Yeah, the first question, the metaphor of the ever given. So global value chain make a country rich or not. So the big box invented in 1950. So this changed the world, this especially Asia. So you can say for Asia company, yeah, for Asia Tiger, so race in 1980s, right? China follow it. So Asia becomes the world workshop. Why? Because have this container big box, right? So this big box make goods easy travel to anyone in the world, anywhere, any location in the world. So this is a low cost product. So but make the global trade low cost. So World Bank and WTO recommended emerging economy follow four tiger of Asia, four tiger, right? Provide Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, and will all provide a good example, participate in the global value chain. So World Bank say if a company participate in the global value chain can improve productivity and technology competence. Is it ready? Okay. So this is the global countries have three industry, garments, automotive, third one electronic. So this part is we can say global climbing the ladder, but this one is locked in the low end production or in the assembly. This part is a company become rich country like Japan, US, they can control the global value chain. So Korean some industry, especially car industry, automotive industry is here. Japan here, USA here. So this part is some company, some country are locked in low value add activities, such as Mexico, Vietnam, Thailand. This part, some industry, China, so you can say a lot of Chinese industry is climber the ladder. So why they have this difference? Why they have this difference? So all rely on innovation. So some scholar propose three trajectory, all based on how the company or how the country can develop national innovation system. So if a country can develop learn faster, build innovation capability, definitely they can move forward, climb the ladder. So the first trajectory is a progressive trajectory. So it's mean like China, Korean, Taiwan is in the progress evolution. Second destiny or trajectory we call stagnation. Mostly is some middle income country trapped because the raised wage, low knowledge base, and not can challenge of the structural transformation. Okay. Also, some country is a negative trajectory. It's some many low and middle income country stuck at the bottom of the ladder. So this is the three trajectory. So basically, we can say China, Korea is in good way. So what is the future? So some professors suggest is in-out-in policy. So the first stage is emerging economic country firm could participate in the global value chain, increase the technology capacity. Okay, embrace industrialization process. Second stage is out. Is out. What does it mean out? It's need a separator and independence from foreign company dominate global value chain. Okay, it's mean build their own industry clusters. A third stage, Kun Li suggests later-comer company need to come back to a global value chain. What do you mean? It's reintegrate back into a global value chain. This time, okay, become a leader, become especially their own local value chain. So this is in strategy or policy. I think Korean probably in the third stage is today lots of company like Samsung is already leader disruption change. Okay, compete Apple with Apple bigger Western country bigger firms. China's position is more like in the second stage. It's a more climber the ladder. Now it's out. It's out of a little bit out of global value chain. It means build their local their local value chain. Okay, so this is at the beginning of our talk. Professor Kim talking about China probably decouple from the global value chain, right? So this is in policy. So second question, we're talking about what is leader influence and supplies relationship in global value chain. So this is important to understand the power profit in the global value chain. Okay, so there are five type of governments type. So you can say this is the x-axis part is left side is a lower of power asymmetry. Right side is a more higher power asymmetry. What's it mean? So the right side you can say is a hierarchy governance of a global value chain. So give an example is a Boeing. Boeing, you can say, although lots of component is made globally in the foreign country, but Boeing control the whole industry, whole process. So this we call integrative hierarchy. Okay, then we're looking for the left side is a more market-based governance. It means all the transaction is based on price, supplier and the customer's relationship. No one dominate. They're all based on price. They are low level of power asymmetry. It means supplier and the customers have a similar power, But the right side, you can say Boeing have a bigger power than the supplier. How about the middle? Okay, yeah. So the middle, so let me give an example from the market-based governance is cotton, the empire of cotton. The cotton is also have a global history. Okay, so left side. But what is the middle? The middle, you can say, is Apple. Apple's a global value chain. So they can sourcing, they have a manufacturing, warehousing, distribution. So they also the sourcing all is around the world. So this is middle. So you can say the middle is Apple's way is between modular and modular. It means such as Qualcomm provide a module. Samsung provide a chip to Apple, so it's a modular. But I also have Apple also have some relationship with like Foxconn and Honghai. This is relation based. So I will say Apple's global value chain is middle. But leader firm like Apple have more power than the supplier. Modular firms like Qualcomm and Samsung definitely also have greater power, but comparatively, the leader firm like Apple have a huge power. So this is Apple's global value chain. It's in the between the five type of global value chains governance. So you can say the leader firm play a big role in global value chain. What kind of role? So we call Australian company, this leader firm, they build the architecture of the whole value chain. They play the strategical leader. They are strategical leader. They also caretaker, connect the relation capital, promote the trust, promote build a greater relationship. They also distribute the value. So you can say in the Apple's value chain, the leader firm they can dominate the profit. The supplier only of limited profit. So this part you can say a lot of digital platform company. This platform company play a big role as a leader firm. So in Asia, we can say, okay, Shenzhen is a big player. China, Tencent, Alibaba, Ant Group, ByteDance, they are big player. Yeah, so this big player become a leader firm. They are architect of the global value chain. They actually make rules of global value chain. Okay, they also control the value distribution. So this is a big role of the leader firm. So what's the relationship with the leader firm and the supplier? So we can give an example of Foxconn or Taiwan's manufacturing company, Foxconn, or another name, Honghai. So this is a market capitalization, capitalization. Stock market is value. So you can say Apple's value is in the previous before 2000s probably is 5 to 8 times of the Foxconn. Now this year the gap is close. Why? Honghai also working for Huawei. Also, even Honghai want to make a car. So this is Honghai. But this is share price. But the market capitalization, Honghai is still a small part of Apple. Revenue, you can say Honghai's revenue is only 2/3 of Apple, fairly close to Apple. But operating profit, you can say only 1/10 of the Apple. So you can say the while revenue part is Honghai is very close to Apple, but profit part is very lower. So this is a supplier's paradox. We will talk about later. Why supplier computer their learning effect, they also was captivated by Apple because why is because of power asymmetry and knowledge asymmetry. So how the emerging economy like Honghai, what can they do? So Taiwan's another manufacturer, Acer, Acer's founder, Shi Zhenrong, have a theory called smiling curve. Smiling curve. So it means OEM is in the low end of low end value. So this is a value add. But Apple control the high value added activity such as R&D, product design, marketing, brand, after sales service. Now Apple use hardware build iOS platform, can earn more money from the subscription, game, TV, book. So this is why Apple is become the world largest capitalized company, right? Honghai, make a lot of contribution, but it's a bottom of the smiling curve. So other company like IC maker, like Japan's company, LG provide display. They also make a lot of value add, but mostly still Apple make more money. So this is the Apple's smiling curve. The interesting thing is you can say that it's globally. So Apple distributed different activity in the value chain to the different location. So they can global sourcing make more profit. Okay, so this is leader firm's relationship and supplies relationship. This picture gives you a view from networks view. Okay, so based on Apple's relationship. So so you can say Apple definitely US dominate the network. Japan, the red circle present the country original contribution, the original product or component. So you can say Japan's here, Netherlands is here. China also make its own contribution, but in a peripheral, not in the center of a network. Okay. Also, China in assembly position. So this is blue blocks present the integration part. So Korean have a good position here. So Korean, you can say Korean maker is original product, borrowing component. They also integrate, also has a close relationship with US. China is more far away. If you're more far away in the network, it means you have a little power. So more closer to the central position, definitely you have more power. Okay, so this is the governance of a global value chain. Now we will more think about supplier's position. Most suppliers have a lower power, right? So what is supplier's innovation strategy? Okay, so this is a third question. So we will go faster. Hopefully we finish. Okay, 20 minutes. So one theory we need to go back to the theory to the closed and open innovation strategy. So MIT professor Eric van Hippel proposed open innovation have a good performance. They can build a business ecosystem faster. So include user and rival even in the system. Not only a supplier, but also include a rival in the system. Then through this, they can build a whole ecosystem. So this is open innovation. Van Hippel proposed open innovation have a good performance because more inspire, more innovative. But the tricky thing is because the system is open, not everyone make money. Okay, so open system is good for the innovation, but not for the profitability. So global value chain is a hybrid. It's a between, not fully open, but highly selective. So high selective is mean some firm was selected into the system, but some firm maybe not invited this system, right? So this way, leader firm is driven the innovation. Okay. So leader firm like Apple, their innovation, they want to develop and integrate its own hardware and software. It means the competitor is difficult to imitate, right? Also, they are keep the product launch secret. So they are against the convenient wisdom of open platform collaboration. So why? Because Apple control the whole global value chain, they can make more money. Okay. So in this system, so both user and supplier all included inside. Apple build a whole architecture, also control most of the components. Some firm like Samsung, Qualcomm have bargaining power because they have the module can supply. But other firm probably Honghai and Foxconn, they can benefit. They also can work with Apple develop a co-specified cell and the technology, but overall, Apple control the system, control the whole chains. So in this way, global value chain is a hybrid organization. They provide an opportunity to connect individual firms, also transfer the information and the knowledge. So this is so my research. I collect the data of the Apple's global supplier. Use their 9,000 over 9,000 pattern all across the country, also build a bigger data set. So this is my finding. I found their knowledge of pollination in global value chain, just like a metaphor, like flowers pollen, so can be transmitted in the global value chain. So the pollination process, they need to rely on three things, three mechanisms. First, you need an intermediary. Second, you need to maintain and transmit knowledge over time and space. Third, you need a reactive thing and synthesizing knowledge with ongoing effort. So this is a supplier's job. So if you can absorb knowledge, learn faster in the global value chain, you can gain the competition advantage. So this is my homework finding is if one supplier was selected by Apple into Apple's global value chain, these suppliers, the forward citation will increase 9.31%. Okay, well, this is sounds smaller, but interesting. So every suppliers your pattern increase 9% of more citation, future citation, right? So this is a good thing. Interesting thing is we also compare the integrator and the modular. It's mean integrator is like Honghai. Modular is like Samsung and Qualcomm. Interesting thing is Apple's integrator, like Foxconn, have 2.8 times of high of the forward citation than modular. So it's interesting. It's mean the supplier of the integrated supplier, they make more innovative impact. Probably is such as Samsung and Qualcomm. They are chip make. So their chip is envelope lots of knowledge. No knowledge spill over to others. So it's why modular like Samsung and Qualcomm, their pattern have a later impact than Honghai. It's interesting. Okay. So this is a network, knowledge network. So this is a huge network globally. So because the pattern have a citation, so we can say Apple is at center. Another company, Huawei is here. You can say Huawei is not close to Apple, but it's an important node on the knowledge flow, knowledge network. Okay. Some Korean company also here. Foxconn here. Japan's company here. Lots of Japan's company here. LG is here. So you can say the global value chain is a knowledge distributed system, fairly big, knowledge intensively flow inside in the global value chain. So it's why Apple's global value chain, the innovation is so powerful. Okay. Also, they can deliver the product 1.5 year. Apple can generate a new generation of product. So yeah, so we can expect a next generation product deliver faster. It's because they have a global value chain innovation faster. Okay. So, but the supplier have a paradox. Okay, we find in the knowledge from Apple to focal supplier, it means such as Samsung. If Samsung side Apple's pattern, it means the knowledge from Apple to Samsung. Samsung can increase profitability 70.4% of if Samsung side 1,000 times of Apple's pattern. Okay. Well, so it means if you close the relationship, collaborator, innovation, collaborator with Apple, you make more money. However, if your pattern side Apple's pattern, your future impact, your pattern's impact will reduce 18%. So it means other company will less cite your pattern. Why? Because Apple is end user. It means your innovation is highly dependent on Apple. So it means not apply for maybe other company, maybe Google, right? So will reduce your pattern's impact. Okay, so this is one paradox, collaborator with Apple. Another paradox is interesting is other supplier to focal supplier. So it means Samsung's supplier to Samsung. Okay, so it's very common because Samsung is a knowledge gatekeeper for a Korean company, right? So lots of Korean supplier here. So interesting thing is if a supplier side more other suppliers pattern, this suppliers reduce profitability. It's mean this supplier reduce 2.96%. Small, it's small compared to increase 17 closer to Apple, right? Smaller. But the interesting thing is this supply increase impact 16%. Okay, so this is a paradox, right? If you close your knowledge close to Apple, you can make more profit, but you lose the profitability. If you closely work with Samsung, other supplier, your pattern will increase 60% of impact, but will reduce the profitability. Okay, a challenge. So maybe some of you will raise a question here. Okay, this is interesting finding. This is another paper, the final finding. I use China's data. So China also in the bigger transition. We call first we call in, out, in 3 stage. We find China's global value chain overall. This is the use all Chinese fluence, include the big data, all Chinese big fluence data. We find China actually develop inward sourcing capability. What's it mean inward sourcing capability? It means not rely on Apple, but more rely on local supplier. It means reduce foreign sourcing, but increase local supplier. So we use inward sourcing is catch the transition part. It's how they sourcing from the foreign country, like a foreign company like Samsung, move to other company, local company. So this we call inward sourcing capability. We find four variables will affect. The first one is a market-based institution. It means more open market company, Chinese company can increase inward sourcing capability. Second, industry level, more open to foreign competition. It means they open to Samsung, also open to Foxconn, open to foreign company. Actually, will increase the inward sourcing capability. Third levels available, we found SOE actually is negative. Actually, it means SOE stay-on enterprise. We are reluctantly get inward sourcing capability. Fourth factor we call R&D absorptive capability. So if a firm put more R&D, they can develop more inward sourcing capability. So you can say a lot of Chinese company now they work with Huawei. They can develop a local sourcing. So this is another trend. So we call inward sourcing capability. Through this, they can develop more innovation. So this is from the patent data. We find they increase their patents search rates. They increase their patents productivity. They also increase their patents impacts. So this is climbing the ladder model. So this is my third paper, the funding. Okay, now we move to we have 5 minutes. Move to fourth question: the future of global value chain. So So the good crisis, pandemic, so can never go to waste, right? So we call three trend. The first trend is global value chains decoupling. Decoupling, we can provide example of Huawei's Shenzhen phase case. Huawei's case called green thinking. Huawei actually think is more want to build a close relationship with the U.S. Because they want to. Huawei have, but Huawei also red team strategy. Red team is mean they provide a plan B, alternative strategy. So this is So this is a decoupling trend. So this is China's domestic firm. But another trend is foreign multinational enterprise. So they provide a pie such as NAC. They provide a China plus one strategy. It means not only China's sourcing, they also maybe Vietnam, in Malaysia, they also find another alternative location if a chance. So this will affect the decoupling. I think of decoupling. Second trend we call digitalization. This also will affect the future of the trend. Third one is resilience, sustainable development. They also affect the global value chain. So first, decoupling. Decoupling is it possible or not possible? Okay, so we can say the previous 18 years. So this is from the World Bank's data. So you can say in the 2000s year, China is here. So you can say Japan and EU and US here, EU is here. So China is more in the periphery, not at the center, right? Japan have a close relationship with the US, EU is here. Okay, 18 years later, big change. So US here, EU here, China here, Japan here, Korea here. So you can say China, after China finish industrialization, China become the intermediate in the global value chain. So it between EU and US. So although some industry such as Huawei want to decouple from the global value chain, I say another trend is China also deeply embedded in global value chain. Okay, this is another paradox. So some industry, high-tech industry, maybe decouple, but other industry, I would like to say, still fully coupling in global value chain. So we need outside the box thinking. Okay. So this is some Chinese scholar, they call double circulation. What I mean double circulation? So they have a first double surplus circulation with EU and the US, but other circulation with developing country like Africa country. So more developing country. So this is a second circulation. But this Chinese scholar called Si Zhan, his version is clear, but still above this double circulation, US have another circulation. More important, US control the global capital circulation. Okay, so the capitalism still control the whole system. So this is probably the future of although China call double circulation, but this double circulation still in the global bigger circulation. US especially provide the capital, they still control the whole system probably. Second trend is digitalization. We already say the digital firm, the big platform is important. So you can say the future competition will rely on the leader firm, the platform, the bigger firm. Third trend is green technology, green global value chain. So this green technology we call green window of opportunity. So you can say this is 5 product, especially the China's new energy product. So solar photovoltaic. They already found a light on foreign market, then come to domestic country, then go to foreign market again. So other wind, hybrid, biomass, solar power give China's build a new capability into the global value chain. So another example is battery, the battery. So for the car battery, so you can say there are four different battery, but China already dominated the technology. So electric vehicle, if we think about the future, China also gain the power. So this is the trend of the green global value chain. Okay, takeaway is we can say the co-evolution of global value chain and innovation. So innovation help Chinese company, Korean country company climb the ladder. Okay, in the global value chain, important issue is governance. So leader firm have a power over supplier. So supplier strategy is pay attention to the knowledge pollination in global value chain. Cooperate with Apple to gain the profitability, but also cooperate with other supplier to gain the technology speed over. Future of global value chain, no way of full decoupling, but partially probably is a partial decoupling. Also digitalization, green is a big trend. Okay, so I finish here. So this is the takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation on the global supply chain. And we have two commenters. First discussion is Professor Ko Young-jin from SKKU. Please comment and raise a question to him.
So first of all, thank you, Professor Sunny. It's my great honor and pleasure to see you in the WebEx. Actually, 3 years ago, when I visited Boston to come to participate at the international conference, I met the two most important person in my career. One is Professor Sunny, so we had some happy hours and then discuss a big project. The another one is the dean, Professor Kim Yong-jun. So at the time, I met him and then he invited me, and then that's why I moved from National Science and University to SKKU. So today, I'm really happy to have a lecture from you. It's a great honor. So based on your presentation, I prepared some a few slides. Actually, Professor Sunny mentioned about that Apple's innovation is a hybrid type innovation. It's not open innovation. It's not closed innovation. It's in the middle. So in order to understand that, actually we don't have much time, but open innovation is quite different from the closed type traditional innovation because they involve some kind of internal kind of external thing, the inside out process, outside in process. So open innovation is kind of hot topic in the global company, including Samsung. So Samsung also innovate kind of initiate kind of open innovation, open source type innovation. So they emphasize openness and collaboration, innovation. So they say innovation comes from open source collaboration. So it means that Samsung tried to move to that open innovation from traditional closed type innovation. However, it ironically means that Samsung is not that open enough. It's still heavily relying on internal R&D capacity, internal knowledge bases. So they are trying to move open, but it ironically means that they are still closed type innovation. So on contrary, I feel that the Chinese companies such as Xiaomi use open type innovation very well, such as you can see Xiaomi. So in order to make a smartphone, there are a lot of parts and components needed. So LG and Samsung, they supply display and Qualcomm and the Google's Android system, and they have no manufacturing. So they ask the Foxconn to assemble their line. And also they have some open type of innovation by themselves. So in Xiaomi, they have very special terms called meet fans. Meet fan is kind of some customers group. So it's more like usual innovation. So Xiaomi continuously upgrade their operating system and smartphone based on the user command. This is one of the great example of that Xiaomi case. So based on that, also Professor Sunny mentioned about emerging economic firms. So I feel emerging economic firms such as Xiaomi and Huawei can be good at using open, because that in the context of emerging economy, that they relatively low internal R&D capacity. So it means that they have to use external capacity, and also they have less ability to absorb external R&D. So it means that their absorptive capacity low. It means that they just simply exploit external R&D, external patent. And third one is less status as partners, because they have a relatively short company history. So it means that they can freely to find and then seek a new partners. And the last one is less IP, even though it's not always though, but however, compared to Western country firms, that emerging economic firm has less, emerging economic country have a less intellectual property law. It means that they can relatively freely use that other companies patent probably. And my first question is, so Xiaomi that copied Apple model but built open innovation model. So could you please introduce opposite case that Chinese firms that use closed system successfully? And then my second question is related to emerging economic context. Intellectual property law in China is not that strict compared to Western country, which ironically persuaded China-style copy-based innovation. So as far as know that closed innovation needs can rely on the strong internal knowledge base. So will Chinese firm like Xiaomi transform closed type and closed open type hybrid innovation, and how? Thank you.
They are great question. So I like to say Xiaomi's case is exactly leverage Apple's global value chain. Okay, because Apple built a global value chain, so Home Hai a lot of component already, such as Samsung provide a chip, Home Hai provide assembly. So Xiaomi actually leverage Xiaomi itself is an integrator. So as I will say, Xiaomi itself is not an open innovation model. Xiaomi's case is leverage Apple's global value chain. So because leader firm, like I previously said, leader firm, they already provide infrastructure, architecture. So Xiaomi have a very we call light asset strategy. It means Xiaomi just integrate. They can, like your previous slides, they can use lots of Apple's supplier, then assembly deliver the final product. They also leverage China's domestic huge market. So they can use internet marketing, right? The social media marketing. So this is give Xiaomi have a great advantage. So it's likely because the supplier of the supplier in the Apple, because they also looking for the innovation, right? So they also supplier, Apple's global value chain, they also looking for another leader user. So this is Xiaomi. It's got a great opportunity. LG, yeah, LG is an interesting case. LG just recently has terminated the smartphone business. I think LG also can leverage the Apple's global value chain, but the problem is LG lack of the huge market like China's market, like Xiaomi. So I think Xiaomi is a lucky guy, lucky company. So you can Xiaomi present the Oppo, yeah, also present the other Huawei's mobile phone. So you can leverage the Apple's global value chain, also the domestic market, so they can collaborate the ladder. Okay, so this is the first question. Second question. Introduce opposite case. Chinese company use a closed system. So yeah, maybe like can I share my slides again? So this is a picture of fully open system. It's an open move, open software. So it's developed by Eric Raymond. He have a famous book called Castillo and Bazard. So he say Microsoft is a Castillo mode, but open source is a Bazaar mode. So this is a fully open, fully opened. But Huawei's way actually is not as open. Fully open the 5G system is called Open RAN system. So some Japanese company and US company, they work together. So this is a fully open RAN system. But interesting thing is Huawei also looking for the open RAN system, but I find the open RAN system today is not the product is not the 5G product is not so efficient. The open RAN is the global value chain is not build a fully global efficient value chain. So Huawei is give up the open RAN system. They still use their own system. Actually, their own system, they use their own chip. Is more efficient. So in the 5G network, US today, US call clean network. They want to use the open RAN system to compete with Huawei. So, so this is US way. They want to use the open system, then compete with Huawei. But Huawei already maybe 20% of the IP pattern in the 5G. So I think Huawei is still Huawei's telecommunication product actually is not as open, although Huawei also lots of supply. So it's I like to say it's still a hybrid. It's a hybrid system. So so this is my view. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. So
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
to the second, another question from Ale.
Hi, I'm Yale Kim. Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be able to participate in this webinar as presenter. And I really enjoyed Professor Sunny's presentation. And I think it was a very suitable topic, especially in this situation like this. Here's my question. Excluding the sales, most of the Chinese companies manufacture products and procure components and materials in China. And this is why the sales of process of China is often irrelevant to the global value chain. And in my opinion, I think it's beneath its status as G2 country. And for this reason, well, China seems to be the target of attack by the other advanced countries like USA. And the United States will utilize the global sourcing such as China and Vietnam for manufacturing, and which creates a global value chain now. And today, the United States is holding back the rise of China, and because of the pandemic situation, it has increased its own selfishness, such as protection trade, and its government is putting political pressure on companies to move manufacturing plants to their home country. And this move has a high possibility of leading to breaking the global value chain. So in this case, I guess it's way better for China to use the global value chain and industrialize it, not foster high value added manufacturing industries such as semiconductors or batteries or etc. So if so, will China really follow this idea?
I think a very good question. Yeah, I think so. Because at the beginning we talking about the big box, the container, right? So container maker. Different country or different location, they can use their advantage. Do such as different industry specialization. It means I can focus on one product or one component. Other country maybe focus on another component. Maybe US and EU still provide a market. Yeah, so this is a good. So like a recommendation from the World Bank is similar. So my view is, but in the global value chain, they have a power asymmetry. It means the leader firm control the power. They also control the distribution of the value. So it's so Apple can because Apple make the rule, right? So Apple can control the value, most part of the value. Only distribute a small of value to Chinese company or maybe Korean company. Similar, Samsung control the value, right? So the distribution. So I say, ideally, yeah, this is good. So Chinese company more focus on industrialization. They provide the lots of component for the global value chain. This is a specialization process. It's good. But every company in the global value chain, they want to capture more value. So it's why every company want to climb the ladder of the global value chain. So you can say it's Huawei have ambition, Xiaomi, like Professor Kosa, yeah, have ambition. They all want to climb the ladder. So how to climb the ladder? Become more innovative. So now semiconductor industry, now you can say it's a very innovative, based on more the rule for more. So every year, so the component will be smaller, become more efficient. So this is if China want to catch up with this trend, so it's why China also want to make a more semiconductor chip. So this is the Chinese company will want to compete with Samsung. So also yeah, so this is climber the ladder. So I would say this part is increase the decouple from the US. So make a global value chain not so efficient. Yeah, yes, it's not so efficient, but geopolitical influence definitely will affect. But good news is other industry we still coupling more coupling. So this is my prediction after the pandemic. So you can say other industry, not high tech, yeah, high tech, yeah, everyone want to climb the ladder, but other industry probably is a global value chain is more integrated together, such as green technology. Biden's government still rely on Chinese supplier, so I will say more collaboration, more knowledge coupling in green technology globally. So this is a trend. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Professor Sunny. We have two questions from the floor. Let's start with Mr. Jinyo Kim.
Okay. So the first question is, except China and the US, other countries like South Korea, we don't know what will happen to US-China trade war. So how come company that work as a supplier like Samsung survive in trade war? Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah. Yeah, in the decoupling of global value chain with China and the US, yeah, supplier in the Korean company probably is in the ugly position. Yeah, so maybe US need to push Samsung. You need to give me a position, right? You need a China side and a US side, right? Definitely. I think China government also ask Samsung, you continue invest Xi'an's chip factory, or move the factory to the south to the Yunnan or not, right? So I think, but another field, paradox field, it's also give the greater opportunity to Samsung. So it means Samsung can work with the US, also working with China. So for the supplier of the Samsung, you can say this is a great opportunity. So you have so based on the yin yang thinking, our Eastern thinking, either and, either US and China, take both or and. So keep innovation, if you continue invest in innovation, you can work in the US system, also working on the China system, both. So this give you the option, so increase the option value. So this is a good way, right? So I saw this is a good opportunity actually. So although the geography, political conflict, but this push you think about you can bet two sides. Okay, so this is my view. So paradox thinking, yin yang thinking, yeah.
Okay, let's move to the David Lu. David Lu, could you ask a question directly to him?
So my question is a more general one. Like I want to go away from like geopolitics and focus more on the global supply chain. For example, there are companies like Apple and Tesla who like focus more on vertical integration, or companies like Huawei which are forced to like vertically integrate more. So my question is like, do the perceived benefits of like higher margins and more control over the products and the parts during higher integration, vertical integration, outweigh the negatives, such as like reduced economics of scale, for example, and also like the different ecosystems, product ecosystems, which would like be the result, which would lead to like lower customer like satisfaction because they have to choose which products from which company they want to buy and stay in for. Yeah.
It's a great question on the Tesla. I think Tesla both build a vertical and a horizontal system together. So the Tesla definitely it's a next Apple probably. Such as Casey Wood, the ETF investor, they predict Tesla future 3 years can go the stock price can come to $3,000. Okay, currently it's 700 to 800. So what her prediction? Casey would think about the most valuable of Tesla is AI system. The AI system they can provide a directly service of automatically driving. So for the service. So this part I think is a key value. So Tesla can build it. So software part Tesla control. Similar like Apple control the OS system. I think definitely Tesla want to control the operation system. So this is vertically. But the hardware part, I think Tesla more like open system, make a hardware because open system like Professor Cost, I think about it is make a system cheaper, more efficient. So the car industry definitely. So it's especially the battery is now is the most fairly expensive, most important component, most expensive component in the car. Also the ladder system, also the sensor. So but ARK investor Casey Wood predict the future 5 years every year similar. The battery industry will follow similar the rule for more called rule for right. Every year will produce 20% of the cost will go low 20%. So 5 years later, she predicted the Tesla's model will be cheaper than Toyota's car. Okay, so why? Because the battery will be cheaper and cheaper. So the battery industry, battery maker is open innovation system. So every lots of I think this is a vertical. This is a horizontal industry. So lot of country. So you can see my final slides. Actually, a lot of different technology, different supplier already there. So they in the future 5 years, every year maybe this open system will make the battery the cost go lower 20% every year. So innovation, the supplier keep innovated in the global value chain. I think so the Tesla can build a huge become a platform in the future. So yeah, definitely. So this is Tesla's strategy. So you can say Tesla actually 4 years ago, Tesla opened their 30 patents. So it's free, free, like more open. So it's easy that other car makers can follow. But AI algorithm, it's impossible for Tesla open, right? But we have a competitor. We have a competitor. We have the open source the Kai country. But this is more based on commuter based competition. It's open the system can compete with Tesla's closed system of the AI. I don't know. I don't know. But this is more, I think, similar answer Professor King's question. Chinese company like Baidu, lots of company, even Xiaomi want to catch it value. So this trend is not stop. So you can say innovation never stop in global value chain. So this is a good thing. Okay, that is my answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Sunny Lee Sun from Boston. I hope you have vaccination earlier and visiting us, or we hope to have a chance to visit you in Boston sooner time. Thank you very much for
Okay.
the SKKU China Business webinar seminar.
Thank you.
And today we
Thank you.
cover a very important topic and the issues on global value chain between USA and China. This is not only for the USA and China. All the Korean companies are so sensitive what they're going to position in this global supply chain. And especially he pointed out there are three trends of decoupling and the digitalization and the stability of a GVC for the coming years. This is very insightful, and which is for the research topic, and most of the companies and the manager need to pay attention what they're going to do based on these changes of global value chain. Thank you very much, Professor Sun. 2 weeks later, we will have this webinar seminar to invite Chinese professor from mainland China to talking about Chinese fintech industry one more time. Okay, thank you. Have a good evening, Sunny.
You too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.